Friends, meet the little gangster of the wild that even the king of death steps aside for. This is the honey badger. He doesn't care who's standing in front of him. He has only one rule. If you mess with me, you're going down. Look at this fearless warrior climbing a tall tree. Why? Because he's got a massive craving for honey. Thousands of bee stings can't stop him. His skin is so thick that those stings don't even tickle him. But the real twist is about to come. A pack of hyenas has gathered at the bottom of the tree. Not one, not two, but 5 bloodthirsty hyenas. They're just waiting for this small prey to come down. The badger realizes there's danger below, but did he get scared? Absolutely not. He grabs his piece of honeycomb and climbs down casually, as if those hyenas aren't enemies, but his old buddies waiting for him. The moment he steps on the ground, the hyenas pounce. But look at the badger's attitude. Instead of running, he counterattacks. He's aiming straight for their noses and legs. The hyenas are stunned. They have no idea what they've just run into. A honey badger's skin is so loose that even if someone grabs him, he can literally turn around inside his own skin and bite the attacker. Five hyenas together, and they still can't control this one tiny powerhouse. So, what happened in the end? The hyenas realized that messing with this madman was a big mistake. They slowly started backing off. And our hero? He just walked away toward his destination without a single drop of fear. This is exactly why the honey badger is called the most fearless animal in the world. If you loved the courage of this little warrior, hit that like button and subscribe for more thrilling stories like this.
obsession drives the honey badger deep into the hollowed trunk, oblivious to the distant danger closing in. He winces, but the hunger for honey is greater than the sting of the swarm. He is not alone. A shadow moves through the parched grass, the black mamba. Inside the mouth, even a few stings can hurt more than many on the hide, but the badger is careless. The black mamba turns back toward its den, an opening tucked close to the base of the same tree. As it glides home, its path cuts straight through the badger's feeding zone, and the overlap could ignite a fight. The badger's back is turned, distracted, breathing hard. Too reckless. The mamba lowers its head, body flattening into the grass. Patience replaces speed. It circles wide, using the sun, using the wind. The honey badger digs with single-minded obsession, snout pressed deep into the hollowed trunk. Bees sting, snap, swarm, yet it pays them no mind. Entirely consumed by the prize. Nothing behind it draws its attention. The world shrinks to scent and taste. But danger is a ghost it cannot see. The serpent closes the distance inch by inch, no warning. From behind, the strike is inevitable. The badger recoils, spinning to face a new kind of death. This is the mamba's kiss. A potent neurotoxic cocktail designed to dismantle the nervous system. To fail here is to forfeit the very bloodline of the species. The badger falters, his equilibrium shattered by the mounting poison. He retreats for a heartbeat, disoriented before the ancient instinct for vengeance takes hold. A dizzying dance begins in the dust. The badger, legendary for his refusal to fear, surges forward with reckless intent. Betrayed by his own nerves, he still chooses resistance. Both launch, then evade, momentum dissolving into sudden stillness. Every movement is a question, every pause a test. The mamba lunges with blinding speed. A ribbon of lethal muscle shaped by open savannas and tight burrows alike. Capable of striking and withdrawing in the same breath. Relying on endurance, aggression, and an unusually high tolerance for pain. The mamba answers with reach and restraint. They advance, retreat, circle, feint. Two predators built for different wars, neither willing to commit too soon. Venom does not need victory in seconds. It only needs patience. It works in silence, traveling along nerves, loosening muscle from command. Every heartbeat becomes an ally. Every moment a quiet countdown. The badger presses anyway, driven by a metabolism that favors persistence, refusing to yield ground even as his body begins to betray him. The earth tilts. Sounds stretch and warp. He sways, snapping at threats that may or may not exist. A mammal fighting both an opponent and his own unraveling senses. A sudden, violent burst of clarity. He snaps forward, his jaws locking onto the mamba's head with a sickening crunch. A brutal shake to ensure the light has left the serpent's eyes. The mamba falls limp. The threat is neutralized. But there are no true victors in this dust. The badger's body begins to revolt as the toxin reaches its zenith. Violent seizures rack his frame. A storm of electrical failure. Muscle tremors progress into the cold grip of full paralysis. Consciousness fades into the golden grass. It forces a few steps, then pitches forward, unable to recover balance. Even animals with partial venom resistance can be overwhelmed by a large dose. It attempts a short run, but the stride breaks into stumbles. Running spikes oxygen demand, and venom can make oxygen harder to use. With neurotoxic venom, the real crisis is often respiratory fatigue. A final push, claws scraping, and it falls onto its side. A small shake runs down the spine, then stops abruptly. That stop can signal exhaustion, not recovery. The last movements are slight reflexes, not strength, then quiet. Under the harsh, open skies of the savannah, every shadow can become a threat. A ripple moves through the grass. At the center, a lone figure stands its ground. Head low, eyes locked, refusing to yield. Too many footsteps for something small. Shadows split and spread, circling with quiet purpose, testing the edges of courage. Padding in with careful steps, trading quick glances as they wait for the perfect moment to surge. A circle of predators closes in, heads low, shoulders tight, reading the risk like accountants. They've taken plenty of prey before. One predator gets a grip, another joins, and suddenly the badger is lifted clear off the ground. A small body turned into a living rope in a savage tug-of-war between head and tail, swung and pulled as the pack tries to tear momentum into victory. Teeth sink into coarse, loose skin, then slip. Not because the attackers are weak, but because this fighter is built for this exact moment. A body made to twist, fold, and wriggle free. They lunge simultaneously, trying to overwhelm with numbers. A coordinated rush designed to end things fast. Is this the end for the world's most fearless creature? For a moment, it looks like it. The circle tightens. The attackers lean in, jaws working, eyes locked, confidence growing with every second they keep it off balance. The badger finds purchase, clamping onto a sensitive spot near the face with a grip that doesn't negotiate. It doesn't scream for help. It doesn't freeze. It fights like the world has already ended, and the only thing left is refusal. Dust rises, feet scramble. The pack wants clean angles, quick control. But the badger turns chaos into armor. Rolling, twisting, scraping free by inches, never giving them the stable hold they need. They back off in fragments, one step, then another. Still watching, still ready, but no longer committed. And when the pressure finally breaks, the badger takes the only victory that matters out here: distance. The warrior retreats to the shadows of a hollow tree, waiting for the sound of paws to fade. As soon as the wild dogs drift away, the badger leaves the hollow and heads straight for its den. The The honey badger is built for persistent excavation. Its thick, loose skin provides a flexible armor against stings and bites. It relies on a keen sense of smell to locate larvae and small reptiles beneath the surface. Energy demands are high, requiring near constant movement throughout its territory. Its name stems from an extraordinary opportunistic craving. While it is primarily a carnivore, it has a specialized appetite for the high-calorie rewards found within a beehive. The badger will endure hundreds of stings to reach the nutrient-dense larvae and honey stored inside. Inside the hollow of a tree, the honeybee colony operates as a complex superorganism. Worker bees are the engineers of the landscape, turning nectar into the liquid gold that attracts the badger. A thief is already at the gate. The prize lies mere inches from his jaws. Motherhood is a primal tether. She knows. The intruder's paw gropes in the gloom, searching for purchase, but the fortress holds. The tunnel is too narrow. The hyena changes tactics, frustration mounting with every passing second. 3 lives, days old, blind to the darkness. Earth flies as he attempts to dismantle the castle walls. The gap widens, exposing the trembling life within. A sudden shift in the wind brings a scent that stops her in her tracks. Ahead, the intruder is already at work. The spotted hyena tears frantically at the dry earth, desperate to breach the nursery roof. The trot becomes a gallop. Terror reigns in the dark, but salvation arrives with the fury of a demon. She does not hesitate. The hyena spins, jaws snapping in confusion. He lifts her, shaking her like a rag doll. But her skin is loose, her resolve iron. Desperate to return to the feast, the hyena has to fight. She is relentless. She clamps onto his jaw, an anchor of pure fury. The hyena tries to ignore the pain. The pups are so close, but the mother is a shadow he cannot shake. She drags him backward inch by agonizing inch. Dust flies as the badger scrambles into the safety of the earth. The hunter remains at the threshold, waiting. She cannot let the danger linger here. Inside, fragile lives depend on her courage. She emerges not to flee, but to lead the jaws away from her kin. The hyena lunges, jaws clamping down on loose, rubbery skin. Lifted effortlessly from the earth, the badger hangs, suspended, seemingly helpless against such crushing power. To lose here is to condemn a bloodline to silence. Yet, she twists inside her own skin. Retreating once more to the fortress of the burrow. The siege continues. The predator charges the darkness of the entrance, unwilling to leave them in peace. She meets him head-on, a black and white fury erupting from the soil. She drives him back, then retreats, becoming the living gate to her home. The tactic changes. She stays low, teeth seeking the sensitive pads of the hyena's feet. The pain becomes too high a price for a meal. The giant retreats, defeated by a creature a fraction of its size. Deep in the cool dark, The mother curls around her young. They are safe. She is exhausted, but the fortress has held. He stops to tend to his mangled paws, licking the wounds that will serve as a lasting reminder of this mistake. Size is not the only measure of strength. Even the mightiest hunter must learn when to walk away. The savannah always respects those who refuse to bow. In the hot, shifting landscapes of Africa, where long, dry seasons bake the ground and short rains briefly awaken the grass, hyenas have adapted to a life built on endurance and opportunity. These powerful carnivores possess bone-crushing jaws, able to break and digest what most predators leave behind, turning wastelands of scraps into vital energy. Living in complex clans led by dominant females, they rely on cooperation, sharp memory, and constant communication through calls, scents, and body language. Often misunderstood as mere scavengers, hyenas are skilled hunters that can run long distances to wear down prey. In a climate where drought, competition, and hunger never rest, hyenas remind us that survival belongs to those who waste nothing and endure everything, turning even hardship into a resource they can use. A pack of African wild dogs crowds around a fresh carcass, mottled coats pressed shoulder to shoulder as they tear and swallow with urgent precision. And the air fills with high, chattering calls that keep order in the frenzy. Yet in a land where meat is never unclaimed, another scavenger is already drifting closer through the dust to their feast. Hyenas are amongst the great hunters, but single carcass can mean precious energy in a harsh land where hunger is never far. A lone spotted hyena lifts its head, ears pricked to the chattering calls of wild dogs on a kill. Drawn by the promise of meat, it pads closer, shoulders rolling, nose fixed to the scent of blood and bone. Unmoved by the wild dog's snarls and snapping feints, the hyena pushes through their bluff and seizes the carcass, dragging its stolen prize away through a storm of protest. Wild dogs rarely risk full fights with heavier hyenas. A serious injury or broken leg could cost them future hunts, and in their world, that price is far higher than losing one carcass. African wild dogs, also called painted wolves, are among the most efficient hunters on the continent. Built for endurance, they can run for long distances at speeds up to about 60 kilometers per hour, wearing prey down rather than relying on ambush. Their cooperative hunting success rate is exceptionally high compared to many predators. Constant vocalizations and body signals keep the pack coordinated, yet despite their skill, habitat loss, conflict with humans, and disease have pushed them toward endangered status. African wild dogs live around 8 to 10 years in the wild, though some can reach 12 to 13 years in protected areas. In captivity, they may live longer. Their lives are often cut short, not by old age, but by disease, injury, and conflict. Infectious diseases such as rabies and canine distemper can wipe out entire packs.
Meet the honey badger. Pound for pound, it may be the most fearless mammal on Earth. A Bengal tiger lunges. The badger snaps back, hissing, as if the rules don't apply. A female honey badger moves low and fast, not roaming, retreating. Behind her, something has shifted. The badger darts for a narrow opening, a burrow, sanctuary. The tiger doesn't pause. It excavates, raking soil, trying to drag her out, turning refuge into a trap. Then, eruption. She doesn't run, and the forest adds another variable. A male honey badger launches from behind and clamps onto the tiger's tail. Now the tiger is caught between 2 points. The female at the front, relentless. The male at the rear, wrecking balance. The tiger expects one target. The honey badgers make it 2 and turn the fight into a problem. When the tiger swats or kicks, they split, slip under the arc, then re-enter from different angles. The female stays front left, darting in to snap at the nose and lips, raking with claws to force blinking and hesitation. Each feint steals the tiger's timing. It's not raw power, it's tactics. Blind the senses, break footing, and never let the tiger settle into a clean, controlled strike. For seconds, the rules wobble. The tiger reacts. In the scramble, the tiger whips around and strikes, catching the male at the neck. The male drops, motionless. Everything changes. The female hesitates, long enough to understand the cost, then chooses the only victory that matters. Back to her cubs. Inside, the mother tends her 2 cubs. Their scent draws a visitor, a young sloth bear, driven by curiosity and a sharp nose. It sniffs the entrance and starts digging. She doesn't wait. She bursts from the hole, charging the bear and snapping at its sensitive snout. The fight is fierce. She targets nose and ears. The bear tries to crush her with weight, but she slips away and bites its paws. The bear yelps and retreats, learning this den is guarded. Then another young sloth bear, its brother, rushes in. The odds shift, 2 bears against 1 mother. The brawl turns brutal. The brothers try a pincer, one at her head, one from behind, but she spins fast, screaming, striking at eyes and lips, refusing to give either a grip. They have size, but not her stubbornness. The tide breaks. The first bear backs into tall grass. Resolve, gone. Left alone, the second brother falters. After one last half-hearted snap, it turns and runs into the trees. India's sloth bear is mostly nocturnal, often using smell to find termites, ants, honey, and fruit. It tears mounds with long claws, then sucks insects up with loud puffs. Solitary adults den in rocks. Mothers carry cubs on their backs. In India's dry, deciduous teak and bamboo forests, the Bengal tiger lives alone, except when a mother raises cubs. It patrols a large territory and marks it with urine, scat, scrapes, and rakes to warn rivals. Most hunting happens at night or at dawn, using cover and silent footpads to stalk deer, wild boar, and other ungulates. A short rush and a throat bite end the chase. Then the cat drags the carcass into shade. Heat draws tigers to rivers and waterholes where prey must drink. Males range wider. Female ranges sit where food and safe dens are reliable. After a kill, it may feed for days, then rest in dense cover, avoiding people and other predators until hunting again. Here, the honey badgers are mostly nocturnal and solitary. They dig fast burrows, eat insects, reptiles, and small mammals, and raid beehives with aggression.
His claws are hooked into the thick, leathery hide of a full-grown warthog. Suddenly, the ground trembles. The intruder retreats into the tall grass, leaving the leopard in a state of stunned confusion. But the hunger is too great. He returns to the hole, redoubling his efforts to drag the original prize from the shadows. Watching from the periphery, the second warthog sees the renewed struggle of its companion. The leopard hauls with every ounce of his being. Exploding into a blur of raw power, the warthog closes the distance with terrifying velocity. With a violent heave, she hauls the stunned predator out from the safety of the dark den. The dust erupts as the leopard locks its jaws onto the second warthog's shoulder. A desperate attempt to salvage a hunt gone wrong. This is no longer a silent ambush, but a raw display of power. The young predator, driven by an instinctive hunger, refuses to let go of this new, unexpected target. To let go is to fail. To hold on is to risk injury. Just as the leopard seems to gain the upper hand, the hidden warthog finally explodes from the darkness of the hole. He charges with a fury that ignores all survival instincts. Now, the tables have truly turned. The young cat is caught in a pincer movement, facing two full-grown adults who are bonded by the desperate need to protect one another. They do not run. They stand their ground, lowering their heads to present a formidable array of curved, razor-sharp tusks. The leopard, though outmatched, is a creature of immense courage. He pounces, aiming for the throat of the first, but the second immediately lunges, its tusks grazing the leopard's flank. This cycle repeats with exhausting regularity. Every time the cat attempts to isolate one pig, the other retaliates with a bone-jarring strike. It is a chaotic, spinning whirlpool of grit and snarling. The warthogs are relentless, their bellows of defiance echoing across the plains. They act as a single unit, a wall of muscle and tusk that the leopard simply cannot breach. The predator's confidence begins to fray, replaced by the grim realization that this meal will cost more than he can afford to pay in blood and energy. Turning his back on the prize, he ignites his muscles, transforming into a blur of black and gold. He flees with every ounce of speed his species is famous for. They drive the defeated predator far across the sun-scorched horizon. The leopard settles in the shade, his belly empty and his pride wounded. He has learned a bitter truth of the wild. Solitary strength is a formidable weapon, but it can be humbled by the unbreakable bond of a group. In open grasslands and scrubby clearings, the warthog moves with quiet purpose, a true specialist of open country. Warthogs are creatures of open country, favoring savannas, short grasslands, and lightly wooded areas where visibility is wide and escape routes are clear. They avoid dense forests and true deserts, choosing instead landscapes with access to water and mud. Every animal is woven to its own element. Those that move in harmony with their land turn landscape itself into an ally in the struggle to survive. It hardens into a rough armor that helps guard against biting insects and thorny vegetation, and even softens minor scrapes and wounds. Warthogs have 4 tusks. The upper ones curve upward, while the lower ones are shorter and sharper. As they rub together, they sharpen like natural blades, used for defense and for pushing soil aside. When danger closes in, this unassuming forager becomes a streak of determination, capable of surprising bursts of speed that leave predators eating dust. A warthog can sprint at up to about 48 kilometers per hour, 30 miles per hour, accelerating quickly from a standstill. It runs with its tail held upright like a small flag, often zigzagging toward the safety of a familiar burrow. In the life of a warthog, survival quite literally begins at the mouth. This solid, ground-focused animal is first and foremost a grazer, spending much of its day feeding on short grasses that grow in open country. Uniquely, it often drops to its front knees, using thick protective pads on its wrists as it grazes close to the soil. In this position, it can crop grass efficiently, turning every patch of green into precious fuel. True balance in the wild is not only measured in struggles and victories, but in the silent agreement that there is space enough for many lives to share the same ground. And that sometimes survival is strengthened not by conflict, but by calm acceptance of one another's presence. Yet for all this quiet coexistence, peace is the exception rather than the rule. And the stillness of the plains often hides eyes that are measuring the warthog in silence. From the cover of grass and shadow, unseen hunters weigh its strengths and weaknesses. Drawn to it because it is solid, nutritious, and often feeds in the open, head down and attention fixed on the ground. They know that a warthog can be caught when it wanders too far from its burrow, when the young stray, or when drought thins the grass and hunger forces it into risky spaces. Females and their young often live in small family groups known as sounders, moving and feeding together as they can be a target for predators. But taking a warthog is never simple. It is vigilant, quick to bolt, able to reach surprising speeds, and armed with sharp tusks that can turn the tables in a heartbeat. Many attempts end in failure as dust and hoofbeats vanish into a tunnel of safety. The warthog shows that even a prey animal is not a passive victim. In the contest between hunger and caution, nothing is guaranteed. Every life must earn its tomorrow, step by step, breath by breath, under an unforgiving sky.
black mamba, the fastest strike of any snake in Africa. In a single blinding lunge, prey never sees it coming. Even the spotted hyena cannot intimidate the black mamba. Black mamba venom attacks the nervous system within minutes. The hyena drops to the ground, a silent testament to the snake's invisible weapon. A scorpion, a creature most animals avoid at all costs. For the honey badger, it is nothing more than a light snack. A black mamba meets a honey badger, one of the rarest confrontations on the African savanna. Neither is willing to back down. For the first time today, the black mamba chooses to withdraw. Thousands of stings cannot drive the honey badger away from a beehive. For this animal, the sweetness of honey is always worth the pain. The spotted hyena, the ultimate opportunist of the savanna. An empty stomach and a sharp nose, nothing stays hidden from it for long. A scent rising from the earth leads the way. A small burrow, and inside exactly what the hyena is searching for. honey badger holds a Guinness World Record, recognized as the most fearless animal on the planet. No predator, no venom, no danger has ever... A Nile crocodile, the most patient predator on the African continent. Honey badger Mellivora capensis, pound for pound, one of the most fearless animals alive. Inside a termite mound, thousands of workers move in total darkness. Harvester termites, small, numerous, and full of protein. For the honey badger, a perfect meal. The Cape short-tailed gerbil, small, fast, and always alert. It will need to be. Chakma baboons, highly intelligent, opportunistic, and always watching. They have noticed something worth taking. On terrain like this, every advantage counts. The baboons know it. A honey badger's nose misses nothing. Not even the faintest trace of beeswax carried on a dry wind. The thick hide of the honey badger is nearly impenetrable to bee stings. What would send any other animal running barely registers. They leave as they came together, but not as the same animals. Slower, quieter.
The honey badger. Small in size, impossible to measure in courage. High above, the golden eagle commands a different kind of authority.